Hello everyone. So today we are ready for the test. I think we have one more section to go through for from our Udemy course, that how to go through, fill in the blanks related focus, and that section we will go. If we get some time today, we will try to cover it. But today's focus is to at least complete at least 3 to 4 mock tests, right, for listening. So let's start. We have 40 minutes for the first one, and I'm gonna start with that one. Let's see.
This recording is copyright. Test 1. In the Ielts test, you hear some recordings and you have to answer questions on them. You have time to read the instructions and questions and check your work. All recordings are played only once. Now turn to Section 1. Section 1. You will hear a conversation between a man and a woman discussing the loss of a bag on board a plane. First, you have some time to look at questions 1 to 5. Now we begin. You should answer the questions as you listen, as the recording is not played twice. Listen carefully to the conversation and answer questions 1 to 5.
Pan Asian Airways, John speaking. Can I help you?
Yes, please. I left something on one of your planes last night. I got this number from the operator. Is this the right number to call?
Yes, madam, this is the right number. I just need you to tell me your name to start with so I can fill out a lost property form.
Kirsty Allen. That's Kirstyyallen.
Right, I've got that. Now, what happened last night?
Well, I was on a flight last night from New York to London that landed at 12:30 a.m. We were delayed a while in New York, so that when we eventually landed, I was so tired that I accidentally left my handbag on the plane.
Did you report this to anyone last night?
No, I'm afraid not. I didn't notice until I got home, and then it was really too late to phone.
Very well, madam. Let me take a few details for this form and I'll see what I can do. Okay, so the name was Kirsty Allen, and what's the address, please?
48 Wyndham Road, Richmond.
Okay, the postcode?
RI6GH7.
Good, I've got that. Now, your telephone number.
Well, my home number is 020-8927-7651, and my mobile is 07754897432.
Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't catch the second one. What was the mobile again?
07754897432.
Thanks. Now, do you know the flight number of the plane that you were on last night?
Oh yes, hang on a second. I've got my boarding pass stub right here. The flight number was PA356. No, I'm sorry, PA365. That's it, 365.
And does the boarding card stub say what seat you had?
Oh yes, it was E6.
And you said that it was New York to London Heathrow, is that right?
Yes, that's right.
Before the conversation continues, you have some time to look at questions 6 to 10. Now listen carefully and answer questions 6 to 10.
Okay then. Now, I have to take some details about the bag that you lost. It was a handbag, yes?
That's right.
Can you describe it to me?
Well, I guess it looks just like any regular handbag. It's very dark red with black handles, and the catch on the top is gold-colored.
Does it have any distinguishing marks?
Not really. It's quite new, you see, so I haven't scratched it or anything. It's got a brand name, but that's just inside the bag when you open it, under the catch.
Okay. Now, can you tell me what was inside the bag?
Quite a few things, actually. Not my passport, of course, or I would never have got out of this airport. My purse is inside, and that's got about $200 and about 70 pounds cash. There's also my credit card and some membership cards.
Good. I'll just write that down. Anything else in the bag?
A small paperback that I was reading, some makeup, my work keys, not my house keys, thank God, and a couple of pens.
Have you informed the police about the loss of the card?
Yes, and I've also canceled the card with the credit card company.
Right. Now, what I'll do is to contact the lost property, which is where your bag would have gone if it was found. I'll give you a call back within an hour and tell you what the situation is. If you haven't had a call within an hour and a half, call back this number and ask for me. My name is John. Okay?
Yes, that's great, John. I'll speak to you later. Goodbye.
Goodbye.
That is the end of section 1. You will now have half a minute to check your answers. Now turn to section 2. Section 2. You will hear a man giving a welcome speech to new students at the University of Wesley. First, you have some time to look at questions 11 to 14. Now listen carefully to the welcome speech and answer questions 11 to 14.
Hello and good afternoon. My name is John Walker and I'd like to welcome you new students to the University of Wesley. What I'm going to do today is just explain to you about some of the facilities that you will find here on our main campus and where you will find them. If you look at the map on the overhead projector, let me talk you through some of the locations before describing some of them in more detail. Well, at present we are in the university's main lecture hall. If you go out of the main front entrance, then you will see opposite across the car park the entrance for the focal point of a lot of university life for most students. This is, of course, the Students' Union. About 150 yards on the left of the Union, as you look at it from here, is another focal point for the students, though not as popular as the Union, the University Library. Behind the library is the main university refectory, where many students eat both lunch and dinner. On the other side of the Union is the college chapel, and behind that there is a small hall of residence. There are 3 other halls of residence behind the Students' Union. Behind the hall that we are in now is the sports hall and grounds, and either side of us are academic departments with lecturers' offices, lecture halls and various labs. You will find it all a bit confusing at first, but you'll get to know your way around fairly quickly.
You now have some time to look at questions 15 to 20. Now listen to the rest of the welcome speech and answer questions 15 to 20.
I'd like now to talk about a few important places on the campus. All students must belong to the Students' Union if they wish to use any of its services. It is very cheap, and we certainly recommend that you join. The Union provides a bookshop covering all the course books at the university, plus lots of other titles for a range of interests. You can eat and drink at the Union. There is a Fat Phillips on the ground floor serving a wide range of fast foods and drinks. Then there is the main Union bar up on the first floor. This is where the Union parties, dances and balls are held, and there's a pizza corner where cheap and large pizzas can be served up in a few minutes. Other areas that will be of interest to students are the welfare office, the travel office and the club's office. The club's office will get you in touch with all the clubs that are part of the Students' Union. These clubs vary from football to drama to potholing to beer drinking. There really is something for everyone. The union opens up at 8 a.m. every day and closes at 12 midnight, unless there are any functions going on later. I'd like to move on to the library now. This is where a lot of you will, I hope, be spending a lot of time over the next 3 or 4 years working and doing research. Of course, this isn't as exciting as the social aspects of university life, but of course it really is the main reason that you're all here. I therefore urge you to get over there as soon as you can, as you have to register, and then you can have a look around. During the first 2 weeks of the academic year, that is now, there are tours every 2 hours aimed at familiarising new students to all the services that the library offers. The library is open from 9 a.m. to 9 p.m, though it stays open later during final exams. As I said earlier, the refectory is behind the library. The refectory offers a range of cheap meals at lunchtime and in the evenings. It is open from 12 noon to 3 p.m. for lunch and from 6 p.m. to 8:30 p.m. for dinner. They try to offer a variety of food from favourites to healthy options to ethnic foods, and there is always a choice for vegetarians and vegans. The university sports hall is one of the most used buildings at the university. To use the hall or the grounds, you must be a member of the Athletic Union, which is part of the Students' Union. Again, this costs very little and will allow you to use all university sports facilities, represent university teams, and it fully insures you during your membership of the Athletic Union. This is really excellent value. For departments and academic facilities, there isn't enough time to go through all of them, but your respective departments should furnish you with maps and information that will satisfy your needs. For all services offered at the university, I recommend that you purchase a Discount Plus card. This card costs £50 and lasts for the academic year. It will then give you discounts on all services at the university. For instance, a £4 meal at the refectory would be reduced to £2.50. It will also give free usage of the late night minibus that the university runs to places off campus, which normally costs £1. You can see that it wouldn't take very long to make it worthwhile. The cards can be bought at the Students' Union. Well, that's what I have to say for the moment. Now, are there any questions?
That is the end of section 2. You will now have half a minute to check your answers. Now turn to Section 3. Section 3. You will hear two students discussing the new term at their university. First, you have some time to look at questions 21 to 25. Now listen carefully and answer questions 21 to 25.
Hey John, I didn't know you were here at the university yet. When did you get here?
Oh, just yesterday. Thursday. I've got some stuff to get sorted out for the start of my second year, as I've just got some new subjects. Today I've had to sort out my timetable. It seems like I've got quite a lot to do this year. When did you get here?
I've been here since Tuesday. What classes are you doing this year then?
Well, I'm continuing economics, of course, and as that's my major, but I'm taking an extra maths class, and I'm dropping Spanish so I can take up French. What about you?
My major's the same as yours, of course, but I'm going to continue the same classes as last year, as I like them so much. They're history and music. What's your Monday timetable like?
Well, at 9, it looks like I've got French for 3 hours. That's going to be a tough start to the week.
Yeah, I can't imagine it worse. I've got history for 3 hours, which will kill me. The good thing for me is that I've got free in the afternoon, which will relax me after that morning.
No such luck for me, though. I've got that extra maths class starting then, so I'll be hard at work all day on Mondays.
Yeah, I don't envy you that. Still, the extra maths will really help your economics in the long run.
I know. That's why I'm taking it this year. Last year I really struggled with all the maths that I didn't understand in the economics, but hopefully this year that will all change.
What about sport? What have you chosen to do on the Wednesday sports afternoons? Are you sticking with rowing?
I'd love to, but the rowing club storeroom got broken into and the boats were damaged, so it's not possible till the club can get enough money to repair or replace the boats. They're really expensive, so that'll take quite a long time. So, as I can't do that, I'm going to try out squash. What about you?
I'm going to do the same as last year. Volleyball.
That's good, as it's in the main sports hall like the squash. I'll be able to see you a lot this year.
Yeah, it looks like that. You can help me with the maths that I don't understand.
Maybe. For a small fee, of course.
You now have some time to look at questions 26 to 30. Now listen to the rest of the discussion and answer questions 26 to 30.
I know it's early, but do you know anything about the first assignment that we have to do?
Yes, it's already up on the economics faculty notice board. There's a choice of essays up there. I think there are about 10 you can choose from. I can't remember any of the titles, though, apart from the one that I think I'm going to write about.
What's that one, then?
It's about the short-term future of third-world economies.
Oh, I don't like the sound of that. It seems very wide-ranging.
It is, but remember that I spent some of the summer vacation traveling in Africa and Asia, so that made me more interested in the subject, and I've also got some first-hand ideas on the subject.
Does the essay list mention how long the essays have to be and the deadlines?
Yes, you remember that last year all the essays had to be 3,000 words in length? Well, that's gone up by 1,000 words.
Oh no, they'll take ages.
I know. I was hoping that they'd stay at 3,000 words or only go up to 3,500, but no luck, I'm afraid.
What about the deadline?
The first one has to be in by the 30th October and the second by the 30th November. It looks like one essay a month like last year.
Well, at least that hasn't changed. But as it's at the end of September now, that leaves only a month to get the first one done. I'm going to have to get onto that straight away.
Yes, you'd better. If you want to talk about it, I'm going to be at the campus cafeteria at 1:30 for lunch. We could go over some questions.
I can't then, as I'll be in the sports hall working out. How about 3 this afternoon at the economics common room?
That seems okay. We'll be right by the economics course office where the questions are, so that'll be convenient for checking up on them.
Okay, see you then. Bye.
Bye.
That is the end of section 3. You will now have half a minute to check your answers. Now turn to section 4. Section 4. You will hear part of an environmental sciences lecture. First, you have some time to look at questions 31 to 34. Now listen carefully and answer questions 31 to 34.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Professor Wilson, and I'm lecturing you today as part of your Environmental Sciences course. Part of this course is concerned with pollution issues in our world today And part of this lecture will look at some of the ways that the oil industry has developed to deal with oil spills around the world. Oil tankers are the largest ships to sail in the ocean. For countries such as Japan that have no oil deposits of their own, tankers are the only way that the oil needed to power their economies can be moved. They are designed to hold millions of barrels of crude or refined oil in reasonable safety and without damage to the environment. When oil is released from these ships, the oil spreads out over the surface of the water in a large slick. These oil slicks can cover hundreds of miles, and they cause huge environmental damage. Oil is released for varying reasons. Accidents while loading and unloading and deliberate spills account for many slicks today, but it is ships hitting other ships or rocks which is the major cause of slicks. Because oil slicks are so damaging to the environment, numerous ways of containing them and cleaning them up have been developed. In previous years, slick cleaners would sometimes try to set fire to the slicks and burn them off, but this is rarely done nowadays because, surprisingly, nearly all oil slicks consist of compounds that aren't flammable. Combustibility comes after refining.
You now have some time to look at questions 35 to 40. Now listen to the rest of the lecture and answer questions 35 to 40.
The 4 ways of cleaning up oil spills that we'll look today are as follows: the containment boom, chemical detergents, the sponge, bacteria. The containment boom is the most common method of cleaning up after an oil spill. Barriers are erected in the water and the oil is then sucked up. Basically, a containment boom is just a large float that surrounds and contains the slick. This method is cheap and straightforward. However, it only functions in very calm seas. Another method to clean slicks is to spray detergent solution from airplanes or boats directly onto the spill. Depending on the detergent, 2 things can happen. One possible result is that the oil can break up into clumps, which sink to the bottom of the ocean. Although these clumps are themselves hazardous, the problems caused by the clumps are much easier to deal with than the problems caused by oil slicks. The other possibility is that the oil then breaks down into tiny droplets, which are soon spread and become harmless. This method is well suited to dealing with the larger slicks. A negative aspect is that often the chemicals remain in the water and they can kill fish and other marine life. A Berlin-based company has developed an alternative method for cleaning up oil spills. EcoCarbon has invented a giant sponge made of lignite resin that sucks up the oil, preventing it from harming the environment. The sponge comes as a mat, which contains crushed coal, whose small granules can soak up large amounts of oil. The process is safe and cheap. The sponges have so far withstood small-scale testing in pools of water with miniature oil slicks. A unique advantage is that once the oil is absorbed onto the mat, it remains fixed there permanently. The downside, however, is that the mats become toxic waste. Scientists are also trying to improve other methods to fight oil spills. At the scenes of oil spills around the world, they've found bacteria that seem to have an appetite for the toxic black sludge. Now, the scientists are breeding these bacteria and studying them to determine which is most effective at reducing oil levels. Eventually, they hope to put the best bacteria to work in helping clean up after oil spill disasters. The bacteria actually use the oil as food. As the bacteria reproduce, they eat more and more of the oil slick until it finally vanishes. Eventually, this method should be cheap, easy to administer, and be completely eco-friendly, as when the slick is gone, the bacteria's food source is gone and they die, leaving nothing behind at all. So far, this method has no discernible drawbacks. Well, that's the end of the section of the lecture on cleaning up spills. This subject is an optional question for your course. You'll find the reading lists and essay questions on the faculty notice boards, along with the deadline for submission. If you choose it, seminars will be held at a later date.
That is the end of section 4. You will now have half a minute to check your answers. That is the end of listening test 1.
Sorry, I was talking on mute. So I messed it up completely because I know this is the first time I was giving it on computer based. Pen and paper was, I think, better option, but now I have selected this, so I have to live with it and I have to practice more. And I think I did average or below average on this one. Let me see the answers. So I know I missed this, and the problem here is not all the question are on the same page, and I have to go next to read this, and I was not sure of this question also, so I missed it. Large leaks was right, eco-friendly was right, drawbacks, I don't know why drawbacks. Yeah, I missed the spelling. I rewrote it, so I didn't check it very correctly. Now I'm afraid on my scores. Calm seas. Toxic waste. I heard wastes, but waste is the correct answer. This was pretty well. I was sure I did right on this one. Here I messed up. What was the drawbacks? There aren't any drawbacks. Screenable, so I was not able to answer this completely. I just heard drawbacks. Here it was submission, deadline for submission. Like multiple choice, those are usually easy. Africa was right, 4,000 1,000 words. Okay, last year it was 3,000 words. Well, that's gone up by 1,000 words. So correct answer was 1,000. As I expected to be yes here. Last year they had 3,000 words in length. I don't know about this. I think 4,000 was the correct answer. I don't know. You can put it in comment. What do you heard at that time? Because you see, the woman does asks this is the deadline. So the man says last year it was 3,000, and well, it's gone up by 1,000 words. So it's gone up by 1,000. So 3,000 plus 1,000 should be 4,000, and that's how many words long an essay expected to be this year. I missed this 30th October. Okay, I thought so. It was Asia and Africa. Asia or Africa. I wrote Africa was correct. 10 is the correct answer. Student can choose from how many essays. Okay, yes, I heard that 10. I thought just one has to be selected. Here again, I missed it. The first one was 2. I have got some stuff to get sorted out for my second year, as I have just got some new subjects. Okay, so answer is to prepare for new subject. And here this was okay, this was okay. Economics was the major, he said. And B, okay, so B was the answer here. The sports they have chosen have shared the same menu. Oh my god. So A, you need to membership to, this is fine. The C is the one. So what it says is it's a good place to go if you want to find out joining student group or club. Again here it was E, it is I don't know where, but okay. The library is open from 9 to 9 p.m. So it stays open later during exam hours. Okay. So it stays open later during the exam hours. So it has different opening hours. Okay. It's my bad. So it is different opening hours. That doesn't mean just open. It's open and close hours. So that's what I misread actually. Oh wow. I completely missed this because I don't know what he was talking about. I just lost the complete track. The speaker says that about 150 yard on the left of Union. As you look at it from here, it's another focal point for the students, though not as popular as the Union, the university library. So it's the left of Union. Oh wow. Ah, wow. Okay. I don't know what did I do here. I understand. I understood this and I wrote B for this, but while copying it here, I again. So again, this computer based, right? So I don't know why all these mistakes are behind the library in the main university factory. So behind the library. So now what they're doing is once they give you the union, they are referring union's location to the next one and then to next one. So again it talks about like once you identify the library, then it speaks behind the library is the main university factory. So factory refactory is behind library, that means adjacent to B, that is A. Okay. And then the sports hall, behind the hall, F. Okay, here hall that we are in, the sports hall. So F is the correct answer. No problem, I can do better. It's fine, it's just a start. I again here same thing happened, like 9 and 10 was on the next page and I was not able to navigate to that page. I'm happy that I'm testing on the computer based exam. I think I have to test more myself. The male speaker asks if the female speaker has informed the police. She says yes, and I have also cancelled. So I think I missed it completely. The rest of all is correct. So this. So overall, it was one. Wow. Here also, I think it went very fast. Like she just mentioned the address and postcode in same breath. So I was not able to catch this. 6 6 or X, I don't know. Somehow I missed it. So 8 out of 10 in first round, then 3 gone, 5 gone, 6, 5 out of 10 in second round. In third section I missed 1, 2, 3, 4, 4 in the next one, and it's a lot. 3, 4 in another round. So it's 8, 5, 6, 6. So overall 5.5. I don't have enough time to go through another test in this part. Let's keep it for the next part. Let's park it for now. Let's go to, I'm thinking of, so we have another 15-20 minutes, and I just wanted to start this fill in the blanks part, and let's see how much we can cover it with. Oh, it was scary, but let's not lose hope, and we have some more time to practice, right? So we have to increase our practice time.
All right, so very quickly, just in case we have anybody that's brand new to the Ielts exam and you've never taken the Ielts exam before, it has 4 parts, right? It has 4 parts, and the 4 parts get progressively more difficult as you go along. The 4 parts get progressively more difficult. So part number 1 is really, really easy, and then part number 4 is much more difficult. Basically, you have 2 conversations and 2 short talks. You start out with a conversation between 2 people, then you have a short talk by 1 person, and then you have a conversation that can be between 2 to 3 people, and then you have a short academic talk. And so you're dealing with conversations and short talks. And like I said, it gets progressively more difficult. Different types of fill-the-blank questions. It's all fill-the-blank, but sometimes it's arranged differently. So you have, of course, a standard fill-the-blank question like this. Right? This is a standard fill-the-blank question where they have a sentence and they have a blank line. Sometimes you have it with a fill-the-blank question where the blank line is in the middle of the sentence, like we have here, or sometimes the blank line is at the end of the sentence. And these are the standard fill-the-blank questions. Then you might have a fill-the-blank question that is more of a flow chart type of fill-the-blank question. And it's still a fill-the-blank question. It's still a fill-the-blank question, but we're just working from a flow chart, which means that it's going to start here at 34, and then you see the arrow pointing down. So next is going to go 35, 36, 37, 38. And as you know, on the listening exam, all the questions go in order. You're not going to hear the answer for number 37 before you hear the answer for number 36. That's not going to happen. Now, you could also have a fill-the-blank question that is where the sentences are put into a paragraph format. And so here, this is more of like a summary fill-the-blank question on the listening exam. It's still a fill-the-blank question. The only difference is instead of having the sentences separated line by line, they're giving you a paragraph and you have to fill in the blanks. But it's the same process. It's the same principles. You're not going to hear the questions out of order at all. And then sometimes you might have a fill-the-blank question where it's in the format of a table. And again, it just goes in order. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Right? It goes in order. And you just have to be able to follow along with the table. They're going to start here. Right? They may or not make, the first time they may say the word class, but after that they won't say it again probably. But it starts here. Then they go to this box, then the next box, then the next box. And so you're paying attention to what's in the heading of the table so that you know which box that you're in at the time. But it goes in order, right? So you can have a fill-the-blank question that is designed like a table. Then you can have a fill-the-blank question, which is really a short answer type of question. It's a short answer type of question. And with this type of fill-the-blank question, in terms of short answer, you says put right no more than 2 words for each answer. You're filling in the blank with the correct answer to the question. So again, it's still these are all fill-the-blank questions, but what they're doing is they're just changing the format and the structure of what it looks like. And that's why when people ask me what kind of questions are on the listening exam, and I tell them it is either fill the blank or multiple choice. It's fill the blank or multiple choice. That's all you're dealing with, right? It's nothing more than that. It's just sometimes shaped and formed and structured a little bit differently. Then it's possible to have a fill in the blank question where you're filling in the blanks on a diagram. You're filling in the blanks on a type of diagram. And so it could be a diagram that looks like this. It could be the shape of some type of radio tower. I mean, it could be different types of diagrams. But again, all you're doing is filling in the blanks. 21, then they're going to say this, then they're going to say this. Then it goes to 22, then it goes up. They go to 23, they're going to say this, they're going to say, that goes here, 24, and 25. So again, this is a fill in the blank question, but it's just shaped and formed and structured like a diagram. Now, there are some traps and some tricks that you should be aware of when it comes to the fill in the blank questions. There are some traps that you should be aware of because they have to be able to test the student's English ability. They have to be able to test the student's English ability. And so, and also they have to be able to separate you. Like they have to be able to know that, you know, a person at a 5 level can do this. A person at a 7 level can do this. A person at a 9 level can listen for this. And so they have these different tricks and traps that they use. And throughout today, I will try to point out for you when these traps and when these tricks occur, because you have to really get better at being able to recognize them. So one trick that they use is they might give multiple possibilities, but only one of the possibilities actually fits the keywords that are before or after the blank line. They love number 2, which is to change up the word order, where they change up the way that the question is structured and the way that they speak in the audio. They're changing up the word order of the question to try to hide when the answer is being said. Also, sometimes they'll switch from active to passive voice or passive to active voice between the question and the audio. You also have self-correction. Self-correction more happens in part number 1 than anything. It happens in part number 1 where you can have self-correction where somebody says something and then they correct themselves. You also can have a confirmation where one person says the answer and then the other person they're talking to confirms that that is the answer. So you have to be able to recognize when confirmation occurs. Pronoun usage. Pronoun usage is also a really good trick or trick that they use to hide the answer. And what this means is that in the previous sentence, they'll say the answer choice. And then in the next sentence, the person will use some pronoun that confirms that is the answer choice. And that pronoun refers to something that was said in the previous sentence. And so that's another way that they hide when the answer is being said. Number 7 is one that you really will see. Number 7 is one that you'll see more in section 3 and really in section 4. But they have what's called filler language, where they may give the keywords, some of the keywords from the question, and then they'll have a lot of extra language that's in between that keyword and when they say the answer choice. And very often students get lost with filler language. They really get lost in section 4 with that. And so again, when that happens, I'll try to point that out so you can recognize it. And then this is something also that happens in section 4. It's rare, right? There may be one question where it happens in a section 4, but it requires you to infer the meaning. It's rare that it happens. And I think there may be a question today where that happens, and we'll have to take a look at that one to see in terms of a rare reference. Okay, so before I move on to the next section that I want to go to, I see that there are some questions that are typed in the chat box, and I'm going to take a moment to look at those questions and see if I can answer any of those questions, and then I will move on to the synonyms and paraphrasing with a fill in the blank question. And so understanding how to recognize synonyms or recognize paraphrasing when it happens is going to really help you spot the answer choice. So the exam designers create paraphrasing by using synonyms, paraphrasing. Sometimes they change the word order or word form. And also at times they will change the grammatical structure or sentence structure to try to create paraphrasing within a question and a passage. So how do you get better at tackling paraphrasing? Number 1, you can create study synonym tables, which is what I'm going to show you how to do today. Sometimes creating a study or synonym table involves using the transcript. Also practicing or recognizing when it's occurring through audio. Studying vocabulary or synonyms list. Currently in section 25 is where we put all of our synonyms list. And then of course, improving your overall listening ability is a big, big help when it comes to understanding or tackling paraphrasing a little bit better. A lot of students always ask me, how can I improve my overall English? And I can't stress this enough. The more you improve your English, the better you're going to score on the exam. So if you really want to improve your overall English in terms of listening, listen to a lot of short lectures, TED Talks, listen to podcasts, and also listen to English Talk Radio. If you notice, I don't put movies and television on there and the visual medium. And very often you're not when it comes to English. So now we're going to talk about, I'm going to show you how to really use the transcript to get better at recognizing synonyms and paraphrasing when it happens. So let's say, for example, you just took a listening test, and you just completed a listening test. And what you don't want to do, which is what a lot of students do, is they will just jump from doing one listening practice test and then say, okay, I got 7 right now. I'm going to jump and do another one. And okay, I got 5 right that time. I'm going to jump and do another one. And really, you're not really utilizing all the abilities that you have from just one listening test. So one thing that you want to do is always, when you do a listening test, go back and look at the paraphrasing and the synonyms that are happening between the questions and the audio track. And the best way to do that is by using the transcript, The transcript is going to be found in the back of the book. All of the audio that's said has a transcript. All right, one moment, I have a couple of questions. All right, somebody's asked me a question about only a short lecture. Yeah, short lectures. I mean, you can listen to long lectures also, but on the exam, you're listening to really short lectures, especially in part number 4. But you can listen to long lectures also. So here's an example of looking at paraphrasing when it happens. Right? You have the listening questions on the left-hand side. This is the transcript on the right-hand side. And so when I'm looking at the questions and I'm looking at the transcript, what I'm doing is I'm looking for the paraphrasing and the synonyms that are happening, because the way it works, everybody, is if you hear the synonym of the language that's before or after the blank line, then you hear the answer choice. If you don't hear the synonym, excuse me, if you don't hear the synonym, then you don't hear the answer choice. That's the way it works. You have to be able to hear the synonym, and then you will hear the answer choice. So, for example, we have the word provides.
I will have to stop here and we will continue from here in the next part of today's session. Okay, thank you guys.